So let's say, hypothetically, for the United States of America, it will be made known that America first is a criminogenic society. Yet it is a society that is based on freedom. Freedom of want, freedom from want, from fear, freedom of press, and freedom of religion, which is a beautiful thing. But I also will make clear that what needs to be restored is the soul of the nation. Instead of becoming a de-industrialized society, we can restore being an industrialized society, meaning that the reinvestment within the nation, its morals, its values, and its principles. By doing so, one must address the fragmentation, structural inequality, and systemic disconnection. Because the disconnected must be reconnected unto a mature, benevolent community. Secondly, transform communities by reestablishing trust, accountability, and human dignity across all social, economic, and political structures. We know that those who came with best intentions is to restore the dignity of the people. 3, create a society where every individual is valued. I've come to conclude that people are suffering from the lack of value or self-worth. And every individual is valued and empowered and able to contribute meaningfully to the collective good. And put them and make them not make them, but see that they are contributors and don't have to look for a place of belonging, because biologically they belong here. We all belong here, and we can enhance and advance that belonging. The North Star, the United States with social credibility and continuity and solidarity are foundational to national life. In doing so, programs need to be launched, such as social and cultural renewal, to reconnect communities, particularly marginalized populations, through education, mentorship, and restored initiatives. So that means we must go through a restoration process. Being restored in that which needs to be restored is one's social credibility. Promote cultural sensitivity, and that's applied to cultural competence and social learning. You look, you listen, and you learn. And I often say we must give to the gift of social literacy. Reducing social learning disabilities, such as feeling of inadequacies, feelings of alienation, grievances, indifferences/differences. Call them social learning disability, and also discrepancies. Integrate family tradition, moral development, and social policy to strengthen cohesion, because cohesion is the decisive blow. Yes. Knowing that policy is driven by interest. Economic and structural reform, We must learn not to take things personal because it's all structural. Address structural isolation, inequality, providing pathways to employment, entrepreneurship, and wealth building. Ensure access to resources for self-empowerment, healthcare, education, and housing, as well as technology. Also help with the importance of business investment, because the first law of the universe is motion, but yet possibly before that there's sound. And what I mean, that business is perpetual, and remember, it is to invest in the soul of the nation, because this life in us is an investment. The soul that is in us is an investment. And this business investment, of course, one knows the importance of local communities and the stake and giving the residents an invested interest or stake in the business, in the local businesses that comes to the community, rather than those that come to the community and exploit the community and take those goods, as Malcolm would say, out of town. Yes. Promoting opportunity and appreciation for local talent. There's 3 core values that I personally operate on: is opportunity, expression, and appreciation. Because when you have ownership, it correlates with opportunity. That is the economic and structural reform. Now, the national ethics and leadership. Promote leadership that is principled, accountable, and transparent. Yes. Because when we talk about the word sin, we're talking about a lack of accountability, moral culture decline, and now we're dealing with what we call recidivism. Yes. And there's 5 things that each of us must learn to do and to forgive ourselves, is to release negativity, accept the unacceptable, learn the lesson, move forward, and have self-compassion. Surely we need to have more compassion one for another. Then we implement the framework for community-based problem solving and prioritizing collaboration over hierarchy. Encourage civic engagement and emphasizes understanding, tolerance, temperance, confidence, and respect. These are the 5 channels and a half channels in which I communicate from. Understanding, tolerance, temperance, confidence, and respect. And then when you have to approach them, you approach the first one progressively, the second one universally, the third one holistically, the fourth one comprehensively, and the 5th one conscientiously. Yes. And at the end, the first one is to restore social credibility. At the end, the second one is to readdress social diversity. And the third one is to revise social coherency. And the 4th is to replenish social continuity. And the 5th is to reclaim social solidarity. Next, wellness and human development. Integrate programs inspired by 8 dimensions of wellness. Focus on mental, emotional, spiritual, and social health. Provide support for addiction recovery, informed care and rehabilitation, treating deprivation as a societal marginalization as national concerns. The purpose, why is this agenda matters? Because it empowers the individual to reclaim agency, self-worth, ensuring every citizen has the tools to thrive, because we have to move from surviving mode to thriving mode. When we're in survival mode, we become hostile toward one another, and then because we fight over the crumbs that are left, and then you got first-class crumbs that fall from the mouth to the plate, second-class crumbs fall from the plate to the table, and third-class crumbs fall to the table, to the ground for animals or dogs to eat. Yes. And not that I'm downplaying any species, because every species contributes to the ecology of this environment. And Chica Diop says, once you throw off the ecology of the environment, one's intellectual aptitude for learning becomes difficult. Heal communities now, the next one, to prevent cycles of deprivation, addiction, and structural neglect from limiting one's potential. Imam Wandi Muhammad made it clear. He says that which is killing us, not only resistance to change, but when one potential is suppressed. Yes, yes, one's potential is suppressed. Then we're dealing with, he said, confused sensitivity, and then Du Bois earlier talked about double consciousness. It was a temporary pathology at a particular point. But we must get to a point and realize that when one loses their grip on consciousness, they withdraw to a state where consequence no longer exists. Now we're strengthening the nation as a society rooted in moral and social integrity is more resilient, innovative, and respected globally. Leave a legacy of restoration aligned with governance. I've learned there's 4 things that we face every day by Reverend James Bevel, one of Dr. King's lieutenants. Problem, questions, issues, and needs. Problems are designed to be solved or outgrown. And when you, the problem maybe is not the problem the problem is not the problem, maybe is the attitude that we have about the problem is the problem. But yes, yes, and the problem is an identity crisis. Now, the issue, we look at a world oppressive environment, it says, I come make the crooked places straight. That's perverted language, which means that the issue is you, but the issue is character resolve. And then the need, not only for spiritual guidance, it is to have meaning in life. And the answer to the question is the question of governance. And as a result, in closing, we leave a legacy of restoration aligned with governance, with principles of justice, equity, and the value of every human life. And this will impact globally citizens of the world as they experience this, a greater social inclusion, purpose, and opportunity, while America becomes a model of restorative human-centered governance for all the world to see.